What's happening? Tim with Nomad Trading. We're going to talk about SRRK today. The squeeze after hours is epic. We'll talk about a couple other stocks and the overall market as well, but mainly just want to focus on SRRK because it's one of those rare situations where it's getting just the right ingredients to create a pretty epic squeeze right at the moment after hours. So we're going to jump over there and check that out. Make sure if you like this video, hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, notifications on, all that YouTube stuff. I appreciate it so much. Thanks for the support. Let's jump over there in my computer and let some random YouTube guy talk about stocks here. Full disclosure, I did not make $1 million today like all the other stock gurus, so I guess I suck. No $1 million today. Anyway, SRRK. So what's happened so far? It had news this morning come out. Let's just check out the news real quick. News this morning came out that they had a positive proof of concept data from Topaz phase 2 trial. So it's like a biotech that has positive phase 2 trial data, a proof of concept. You get the picture. So I don't ever dive too deep into the news itself because I'm more of a penny flipper. I scalp typically, so I don't get too deep into the news itself, or the fundamentals or any of that. I'm more just interested in how it's moving and getting in and out, taking a piece of the move. So this thing gets news. It comes up in the live chat on YouTube Live. I was streaming my scanner earlier, popping in and out, and I talked about this thing way back here where it was breaking out, I think around 25 bucks. And I talked about if it can hold up and hold above VWAP, it's going to have resistance somewhere around 27 perhaps, which it did. It ended up almost topping out there. And then again here. And then I said 30 bucks would be the next spot that I thought it might have trouble. The reason being, when you're looking for technical analysis and resistance support, etc., you just look at the past. For instance, if we zoom out, that's not far enough. Zoom out like 2 years, apparently. That's not even far enough. At that point, we're already beyond most of this stuff. But to find any kind of resistance or any numbers to go off of, you had to go all the way back here to 2018. And you could see that here, it had kind of double topped around 27. That's why I thought 27 might be an interesting area between the 2650 and 27 area, and that proved to be the case today. That is where it topped out a couple times, faded back, and then found more strength. And then here we see the all-time highs were right just at 30 bucks, a little bit under 30 bucks. So 30 bucks here is where it topped out. So when we're looking for price targets and things in the intraday move, we're just looking back here at previous levels, previous areas where the stock had topped out and had found resistance in the past. And the highest point was 30 bucks. So if we look at today, we'll see that it did find resistance at that 27 range. And then 30, not so much. I mean, it kind of topped out a little bit there below 30, but it ended up busting through pretty easily. And then found resistance around that 31 area instead of 30. So a little higher than I expected, but came back down, found the 200 moving average, which is this blue line I've got here, and kind of walked along that, stayed above VWAP, which was great. But it wasn't until after hours that it really started squeezing. Why is that? This jump right here, why did this happen? Basically, it's just squeezing shorts. That's what it comes down to. The only time you get a move like this is when you see shorts getting squeezed. It actually had bad news, or what most people would consider to be bad news. They announced a public offering, a secondary offering of 150 million of its common shares. So typically, when you see that is bad news. Most stocks, when they see a secondary offering, that's like your worst nightmare. When you're holding a stock, a momentum stock, especially up over 100%, and you're holding it overnight, the last thing you want to see is secondary offering news. typically that will tank it down considerably. But in this case, for whatever reason, it got a spike, and that's all it took to get shorts covering. Once you pass that high of day, especially, you're going to have shorts on the run. And they're all sitting there thinking what I'm thinking and what most people are thinking. Hey, it's a secondary offering. It makes no sense. It's going to come back down. Um, it's illogical. It's definitely coming back down. It's a short, so they start shorting it more, and as it goes up, they're shorting it, and then it just keeps squeezing them and squeezing them and squeezing them, and then we ended up getting all the way to 36.50, 37.50, excuse me. So that's how that happens. Now we're kind of pulling back a little bit, but this thing is anybody's guess because all it takes is a little bit more positive momentum going into tomorrow. I mean, maybe we see a pullback and then some positive momentum going into tomorrow with enough eyes on it. It's traded 52 million shares, which is quite a bit for a $30-some stock. What I mean by that is for this to continue, if the offering news comes out and says that if they put a positive spin on it, or they say that the offering price is what would be considered to be fairly high, because typically with a secondary offering, you're going to see the price be considerably lower than what it is. And then that is part of why the stock tanks, because not only are the shares being diluted, so your values being decreased, but also the price that they're selling the shares at in the offering is usually discounted considerably. Now, when you see a move like this that can continue, it's usually when the price comes out and it ends up being quite a bit higher. If the price ends up being anywhere near the $30 range or something like that, when the stock started way down here in the teens, it will be considered a win, and people will start buying, and shorts will start covering, and it'll continue the crazy squeeze even higher. Case in point would be KOD back here in December. I remember this because I was trying to short it. So the KOD back here in December of 2019 had good news. It starts going up. I shorted it, made some money on it, but then I got caught because they came out with an offering as well, and the offering ended up being priced what would be considered to be good, or a higher price. It wasn't as big of a discount, so it got shorts covered and squeezed even more. Ended up going to $75, and it really didn't come down until the pandemic, way over here, that kind of took it back down. But if it wasn't for that, it may have kept going. And as of today, here it is hitting $100. It was over $100 at one point today. So be very careful if you're trying to short a stock like this. If you got a biotech and you get the right players involved, Kodiak was a Baker's Brothers play. They're known, widely known in the biotech world for investing and making a bunch of money, etc. So they had a piece of this, and I think they were involved in the offering as well, and the pricing and all that. And I'm sure that was part of it. But still, you're talking about a similar situation where a stock's down here at $30. It gets good news, it starts going, then it has an offering, and the offering's priced just right. The talk with the Baker's Brothers name in the talks, and it squeezes all the way to $75. So you can be underwater quick and be in a bad position if you're short on a stock like this and just the right scenario plays out. I'm not saying that's going to happen. More often than not, they'll come back down and the offering will be discounted and the stock will come back down. But I'm just saying, you never know. This could be one of those special scenarios like Kodiak, where the right number comes out on the offering, or the right name comes out as an investor or whatever, and we see it keep running up. It's very possible. You never know. I'll just see what tomorrow brings. So that's what I'm looking at as far as right now. There's not a whole lot to look at for resistance areas. We could look for support. We would look, near the high of day and that $30 range, and then we would look down the $27 range. But we would also be checking out the 200 moving average and VWAP, of course, as support as well. But as of now, it's just kind of up here in no man's land and kind of following this move up, still holding this trend line right here at the moment. And we'll see what happens. Will it break down further and head back down, or will it start to curl up and squeeze shorts again? That's what happens. You know, it's kind of like a giant snowball. The more it squeezes, the more shorts got to get out of the way. You start getting margin calls, and brokers are closing people's accounts and things and buying them in, buying the shorts in, and it just squeezes and squeezes higher and higher. So we'll see what happens. Ooh, might be perking up as we speak. We'll see what happens. Kind of slammed back down though. Didn't squeeze right away. We'll see if that's indicative of what's to come. Is it going to fall more or not? But anyway, I'm going to get off here. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. This was really only the stock that I saw today, the only one that I was really interested in throughout the day and talked about in the live YouTube stream. The rest of the stuff was kind of a gap up and fade all day scenario, so not a lot of spots to go long. And the overall market down again today, so SPY down another 0.75%, it looks like, as of right now, and still down under the 50 moving average. We'll see if Congress can get their stuff together and pass some kind of stimulus to try to perk it back up, or if we'll just see a sell-off going into the election. Time will tell. Thanks for watching. Hit the thumbs up. I appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Have a great evening.
If you made it this far, first of all, I just want to say I love you. You must have liked the video, so make sure you give me that thumbs up, subscribe, notifications on, of course, and then click on one of my videos to the side. If the YouTube algorithm is doing its job, there should be one over there. If not, just go to my page and check it out. Thanks for watching. Peace.